He was halfway through Can't Help Falling in Love when he stopped. The band froze. Spotlights burned down on the Vegas stage. In the third row, a frail woman in a wheelchair held a cardboard sign. Bucket list, see Elvis, her daughter. Wiped a tear, Elvis adjusted his mic and walked toward her. Stories like this remind us why legends live forever. Stick with me until the end to hear the moment that left an entire arena in tears and the gift Elvis left behind. Stage lights swept across red velvet seats. Ushers whispered into headsets. It's the mid-1970s, Las Vegas, Nevada. The International Hotel is buzzing. Every seat sold. Outside, neon tubes flicker pink and gold against the desert night. Inside, the air is thick with cigarette smoke and the faint smell of cologne. Glasses clink at cocktail tables. The house band tunes up a low, restless hum before the storm. In the third row, center aisle, sits a 72-year-old grandmother. Oxygen tank beside her, plastic tubing tucked neatly over her ears. Her daughter, mid-40s, leans close, whispering something we can't hear over the chatter. The woman smiles, a soft, tired smile. According to her family, doctors had given her only weeks. She'd told them she didn't want flowers, didn't want a big fuss. Just one thing: to see Elvis sing live before she left this world. Her hands tremble slightly as she holds a piece of cardboard in her lap. The words are hand-lettered in thick black marker. Bucket list, see Elvis. People nearby notice. A couple exchange glances. Someone in the row behind leans forward to read it, then nods with quiet respect, and then the lights drop. A swell of screams rises from the crowd as a single spotlight hits the curtain. When it parts, there he is, Elvis Presley, in a white jumpsuit, catching the light, studded with gold details. His hair is perfect. His smile is quick but warm. The applause is deafening. People leap to their feet. Some wave programs, some wave scarves. The grandmother does not stand. She simply looks at him, her gaze locked like a camera lens that refuses to blink. The band launches into CC Rider, horns punching the air. Elvis moves across the stage with that signature mix of swagger and grace. But for a moment, just a moment, his eyes sweep over the crowd. Row by row, we see it in real time. His glance catches on the third row. He doesn't break stride, but something changes. A flicker in his expression. 3 songs later, the house dims again. He starts Love Me Tender. The crowd sways, couples draw close. Flashbulbs pop like tiny fireworks. And there it is, halfway through the first verse, his gaze lands back. On her, he holds it. Longer than a glance. Long enough for her daughter to notice, her breath catching. Nobody knows it yet, but the night is about to change. His hand shifts on the mic stand. His eyes narrow slightly, as if he's just made a decision. Elvis puts a hand up. The band misses a beat. It happens in the middle of the verse. One subtle motion, palm facing the brass section, and the music softens, then fades. The drummer coasts to a stop, cymbals shimmering in the quiet. The crowd murmurs, unsure. Cameras lift. Elvis steps forward, scanning only one direction, toward that third row seat. Witnesses recall the air felt thick, like no one dared breathe. The grandmother's daughter grips her hand. Her knuckles whiten. He crouches at the edge of the stage, mic in hand, and leans forward slightly. The spotlight follows him, cutting the crowd into shadow and light. What's your name, darling? His voice is low, warm, and for her, private. She tells him, 2 syllables, simple. He repeats it, almost to himself, nodding. He doesn't walk back to the center. Instead, he shifts his weight, his body turned fully toward her, and then he starts singing again. Not to the arena, not to the cameras, to her. His tone changes. Softer, slower. Each note seems to land right at her seat. She blinks against the light, and for a heartbeat, it's just the two of them, from the balcony. Someone snaps a photo, the frame lit by the beam of the spotlight. Elvis's face in profile, the faint outline of her wheelchair in front of him. An usher at the aisle steps closer, unsure if they should intervene. Security leans toward each other, whispering into earpieces. This isn't planned. Midway through the second verse, Elvis makes his move. He takes a step down from the stage. The crowd gasps, 2 more steps, and he's on the carpeted floor of the aisle. Security freezes. They've never seen him do this. In Vegas, not like this. But Elvis doesn't break stride. He walks down the aisle, one hand brushing the hands of fans who reach out as he passes. The other hand grips the microphone, cable trailing behind him like a lifeline. When he reaches her row, he pauses just beside her wheelchair. Her daughter's hand flies to her mouth. The grandmother looks up at him, tears gathering but not falling. Up close, you can see the shimmer of sweat on his temple, the small movements of his jaw as he keeps time with the band still playing softly behind him. He leans in, not too close, but enough to be heard over the quiet hum of the amps. You mind if I sing with you a while? She nods, and then he reaches into the pocket of his jumpsuit. Slowly, carefully, his hand emerges, holding a folded silk scarf, white with gold embroidery catching the light. Elvis shifts the mic into his left hand. The scarf rests in his right, dangling just above her lap. He smiles, the kind that says he's about to break every rule in the book. The scarf rests in her lap, his hand covering hers. The white silk folds gently against the cardboard sign she's still holding. Gold stitching glints in the spotlight. For a moment, neither of them moves. Then Elvis shifts the microphone back to his right hand. The band, sensing the change, drops to a whisper. Bass barely thumping, guitar strings brushed like secrets. He starts the final verse of Love Me Tender, inches from her. His voice is lower now, warmer, as if meant for a living room, not an arena. The hum of the amps and the faint hiss of the PA fill the spaces between the notes. Her eyes glisten. She's not just hearing a song. She's hearing her song, her daughter. Fumbles with a small camera, the kind that needs a flash cube. She tries to steady her hands, but they tremble. A pop of light captures Elvis mid-lyric, his gaze fixed on the woman in the chair. Midway through the verse, Elvis does something no one expects. He lowers the mic toward her. She hesitates. Then, with a deep breath from the oxygen line, she sings, for soft words. Her voice is thin but clear. The room explodes in applause. It's only one line, but it feels like an entire concert. The horns fall silent. The drummer taps with brushes, keeping time like a heartbeat. Elvis doesn't move on. He nods to her, your turn again. She tries. The note cracks, but the crowd cheers louder. In that moment, this isn't about Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. It's about a woman who refused to leave this world without singing with him. Flashbulbs, strobe from every angle. Some fans are openly crying. An usher stands frozen halfway down the aisle, holding his program against his chest. Elvis leans closer, close enough for her to hear him without the mic. You're doing just fine. He finishes the song softly, letting his voice trail off. With hers, the band stops. For a second, there's silence, that charged kind of silence, when everyone in the room knows they've seen something unrepeatable. Then, an eruption. Applause crashes over them like a wave. Elvis stays right there. He reaches out, gently resting his hand over hers again. She clutches the scarf like it's a piece of him. He bends down, lips close to her ear. He whispers something we can't. Here, her daughter's camera flashes again, freezing the moment. The woman nods, tears spilling down her cheeks now. He straightens, gives her hand one last squeeze, and turns to walk back toward the stage. The question lingers in the air. What did Elvis just say that made her cry and smile all at once? A stagehand waves urgently, but Elvis ignores him. The set is over. The curtain should be closing, the audience filing out, but Elvis stays at the front of the stage, scanning the third row one more time. He lifts a hand and motions to security. A large man in a dark suit leans in. Elvis points to the grandmother and her daughter. "Bring them back," he says simply. The woman looks startled. Her daughter's eyes go wide. An usher approaches, kneels beside them, and explains. The crowd parts as she's wheeled toward a side exit. The backstage hallway is narrow, lined with cables and road cases. The air smells of hairspray, leather guitar straps, and the faint tang of coffee that's been sitting too long. From somewhere down the hall, you can still hear the muffled thump of the house. Band vamping their exit music. Elvis is waiting just inside the green room door. Without hesitation, he bends down and hugs her. Not a polite, quick hug, but one that lingers. His left hand stays on her back. His right rests lightly on the scarf still clutched in her lap. Up close, the details are sharper, the fine lines. At the corners of his eyes, the dark sheen of his hair under the soft yellow bulbs. "Thank you for letting me sing with you," he says. Her voice is barely above a whisper. "Thank you for stopping," he smiles. And then he says the line the family will repeat for decades. "You've given me more tonight than I've given you." The daughter's eyes well with tears. A photographer from Elvis's crew snaps a quick picture, just the three of them. The scarf, front and center. From the doorway, Colonel Parker clears his throat, tapping his watch. Elvis doesn't look over. Instead, he leans toward Joe Esposito, one of his most trusted men, and murmurs something. Joe nods, pulling a notepad from his jacket. Elvis says, "Louder now. Send her something from me." We don't hear what something means, not yet. The grandmother tries to speak again, but her voice breaks. Elvis squeezes her hand and says, "Get home safe, and keep that scarf close." Security wheels her toward the back exit, where the desert night air is cool and still as the door closes behind her. Elvis is still standing there, watching. Whatever he asked his team to send, it's already in motion, and in 3 days, it will be sitting on her front porch. 3 days later, a delivery truck pulls up to a small white house. It's mid-morning. The Nevada sun is already sharp, baking the gravel driveway. A light breeze rattles the wind chimes near the front door. The grandmother's daughter opens the door, still in her robe. On the porch is a plain cardboard box. No return address beyond a typed label. Graceland Enterprises. She bends down, lifts it carefully, and carries it inside. The grandmother is in her recliner, scarf draped around her neck, the oxygen line looped under her chin. "What's that?" she asks. Her voice soft but curious. The daughter sets the box on the coffee table and begins cutting through the packing tape. Inside, Under layers of brown paper is a smaller box wrapped in tissue. She peels it back, and they both see it at once. A 12-inch vinyl record sleeve, the full set list from the Vegas show 3 nights ago. Signed in bold blue marker, Love, E. But there's more. A small envelope rests on top of the sleeve. It's cream-colored, sealed with a gold-embossed EP monogram. The daughter slides a finger under the flap and unfolds a single sheet of hotel stationery. The handwriting is unmistakable, large, slanted, quick. You'll always have a seat in the front row. Love, E. The grandmother presses the paper to her chest. Her daughter sits beside her, leaning close. Neither says a word for a long time. According to the family, she kept that note by her bedside until the day she passed. Just weeks later, at the memorial, they placed the scarf, the vinyl, and the note together on a small table. Guests stopped to read it. Some cried. Others just nodded, understanding exactly what it meant. This wasn't about a celebrity autograph. It was about a promise, and the fact that Elvis Presley, in the height of his fame, meant it enough to send this himself. One guest, an old friend, recalled that after the show, the grandmother had whispered to her, "He told me something else, something I'll never forget." But she hadn't shared what it was, not then. Now, for the first time, her daughter is ready to tell the world the last sentence Elvis said to them that night, the one that stayed in her heart for the rest of her life. Her daughter's voice breaks as she repeats the words. We're sitting at her kitchen table decades later. The scarf is framed now, the silk yellowed slightly with time. The note is under glass beside it. Elvis's handwriting still bold and certain. The daughter takes a breath before speaking. That night, when the song ended and the crowd was clapping, he bent down and whispered. She pauses, swallowing hard. If you love someone, make sure they know it before the curtain closes. She blinks fast, as if saying it out loud pulls her right back to that night. The lights, the heat of the room, her mother's hand clutching the scarf. For her, that wasn't just something Elvis said to fill a moment. It was advice her mother had lived by, and now, something she tries to live by to Dot. She explains that in the months after her mother's passing, those words kept surfacing in her mind at unexpected times, while tucking her kids into bed during a quick phone call with a friend. Even in quiet moments at the grocery store, it became a silent challenge. Have I told the people I care about how much they mean to me? As we talk, the sun outside shifts, spilling light across the framed seat photos from that Vegas night. In it, the third-row chair is visible, the cardboard sign on her lap. Elvis, leaning in, caught in a perfect moment of connection. That connection still ripples through her family today. The daughter keeps the scarf where she can see it daily. Her grandchildren know the story by heart, right down to the pause before Elvis spoke those final words. And every year, on the anniversary of that concert, the family plays the vinyl he sent, letting his voice fill the room, just like it did in 1970s Las Vegas. An empty third-row seat at the International Hotel, a single spotlight pooling over it. Draped across the armrest, a white silk scarf with gold embroidery, waiting for someone to claim the front row again. If this touched you, share it with someone you love, and in the comments, tell me, what's one moment of kindness you'll never forget?